I'm Tatum Skipper, and welcome to Real Florida Magazine.
Welcome back. We've got a surprise guest today. It's Matt Gaetz, Florida Representative, District 4. Matt's getting ready to, just like all the other legislators, go back into session in Tallahassee. We were fortunate. We caught Matt at the right opportunity. He acquiesced to our invitation to come by here on the campuses to discuss what's going on in Florida. The old Chinese curse, may your life be interesting, seems to be prevalent these days. A lot going on, lots of heartburn. Good thing we've got guys like Matt and his father, Don, who you've certainly seen on this show, watching out for us in Tallahassee. When we come back, we're going to talk to Matt about all this and more, so stick around. We'll be right back. Is the Republican Party having problem finding its own identity or maintaining its own identity these days?
Yes, candidly, Paul. I think that the Republican Party is in the midst of an identity crisis. And we have a number of Republicans who think that the way to win more national elections is just to behave more like Democrats. And that's not my view. I think that Republicans, frankly, have become too willing to just get in the pocket of big business. The number one threat to our liberty is big government. The number two threat to our liberty is that big business gets too close to big government and then is able to create laws that benefit big business at the expense of the consumer and at the expense of someone who just has an idea and wants to be a disruptor or an innovator. And so I think that Republicans have been in the pocket of big business too much. And frankly, we've got to get back to fighting for what has always made America special. And that is the theory that in this country, the circumstances that you are born into are not the circumstances that dictate your outcomes. And everybody can succeed and everybody can fail. We've done too much in this country to keep people who are successful no matter what, even if they're not the ones working hardest and innovating the most. That shouldn't be the case.
What's the answer? What from your point of view, and again, candidly, is what I'm asking for.
Sure.
What's the best case? If you could offer a nugget of advice to the Republican Party, if that Republican Party per se, that entity was sitting right there, what would be your advice to maybe regain the confidence of the people, to project a unified front, to actually stand for something, again, not going for the votes, but going to be true to yourself?
It's actually remarkably simple. We just have to believe in liberty again. We have to believe in strong people, fully vindicated with all of the tools that the Constitution provides the people of this country to be able to go and be successful and access their rights. Right now, I see constitutional liberty under attack. I see the First Amendment under attack, where people who are Christians are in many ways discriminated against because they want to express a Christian faith. You wouldn't see those same circumstances if they were expressing a faith that wasn't the Christian faith. So we've allowed political correctness to almost be kryptonite to the First Amendment, to our Constitution. We talked earlier about the Second Amendment being under attack with the president's unconstitutional executive orders. So if as a Republican Party, our organizing principle was to make people as strong as possible by giving them as much power as we possibly could, and then decentralizing the power of government, I think people would really buy into that across all socioeconomic spectrums, across all racial lines. Folks generally want to be left alone. And I think that if we were more pure in executing those principles, we would see the tent of the Republican Party grow a great deal.
The last couple of times that we've had the opportunity to speak with you, we sort of alluded to that Senate race.
Sure.
And gentleman that you are, you stressed the fact that you were more concerned in serving out your term and doing the job that you were elected to do.
Correct.
We're now at that turning point, however, and you are looking square in the face at that campaign. Candidly, why should our viewers consider you for that District 1 Florida Senate seat?
Well, I'm a reliable conservative, Paul. It's what I believe. It's not, I'm not running as a Republican in this race because it's fashionable to do so. I'm a lifelong Republican, and people can count on me to go and vote based on the conservative principles that I have displayed over the last 7 legislative sessions. I've never voted for a tax increase. I'm the only person running in this race who's never voted for a tax increase. And I have worked to repeal or reform over 4,000 job-killing and economy-strangling regulations. So I know what it's like to roll up my sleeves and get to work. Here's the other reason that I would ask folks to consider my candidacy. When we wake up in the morning in Tallahassee, there are 40 members of the Florida Senate. Only 2 live in the Central Time Zone. And so to be successful, we can't just kind of show up and vote. I mean, we've got to be the first ones in the Capitol building in the morning, and we got to be the last ones to leave. And often we have to fend off the folks from South Florida with a whip and a chair to protect our economic priorities and our funding priorities in the state budget. I know how to do that. I'm an experienced legislator. I lead the Finance and Tax Committee now, and I won't need training wheels when I get to the Florida Senate to make sure that when we have needs in Washington County and throughout the Panhandle, we can protect them. When we needed a new courthouse because ours had been condemned here in Chipley, I fought for and got $8 million in the state budget to go do it. When Kate Smith Elementary was in a condition that no student should have been sent there, I fought for and obtained funding to build a new school here in Washington County. So, the decisions that are made in Tallahassee have a very significant impact on rural communities, because oftentimes we need the support of state government to make sure that we have the infrastructure and the educational facilities and the judicial facilities that we need. I can get that job done. I think I've proven it, and I really hope to have the chance to continue that public service in the Florida Senate.
Taking education and jobs in the same paragraph, we find ourselves today on the campuses of Florida Panhandle Technical College. Just recently named a technical college, for many years a technical center. Interestingly, when a technical center has become a college, they've experienced and enjoyed up to a 30% increase in recruitment of new students. High schoolers want to go to college. If all their friends are going to college and they're going to a technical or a VOTEC to become a welder, there is something of a stigma there. There's no doubt about it. If they can say they're going to college to learn welding, whole lot different animal, and we are enjoying the fruit of that name change. Mm-hmm. That said, most of these programs here on campus enjoy between an 85 and 100% placement rate. In less than a year, in many cases, we're turning out hundreds of not just kids, but adults, many who lost their job when the bubble burst, some who have to retool, some who get divorced and find they now have to get a job for whatever reason, whether it's cosmetology, culinary, welding, cybersecurity, drafting, in this case, audio production. They're able within a year, and our motto is one life, 1 year, one great career, to get the necessary skills to actually get that job interview. More importantly, to know how to turn those knobs when they get there, how to stir that pot, how to cut the hair. They literally have the job compared to what we're calling the boomerang generation right now. The kids getting out of college, nothing wrong with a traditional college, but they have $120,000 worth of debt moving back home with mom and dad because they can't get a job. Not too long ago, Rick Scott was here, and we had that same discussion. And he said, Paul, my daughter graduated Florida State with an anthropology degree. She's living at home with us. So I say all that to ask you, what is, in this case, what are you doing as a Florida representative, and what would you do moving forward as a member of the Senate to ensure that the state is giving due diligence to making sure that these technical colleges, these technical centers, who are turning out real people with real jobs, that they have the ability, the wherewithal to go forward and do their job better?
Paul, in addition to taxes and regulation, what you just stated is the key economic development question of our time. And it can be answered with 2 words: performance funding. You see, if the dollars follow the jobs and the careers and the placement, then places like this, will be able to grow. Here at North Florida Technical College, we'll be able to grow and attract more students and offer more services and get young people, and even people who are coming back for a second career, that opportunity for a career in a year. I went to Florida State University, really enjoyed it. I got a degree in political science. I would have done better to get a degree in volleyball, because at least then I would have graduated with a skill. All I did was read stuff. I had to go to in a sense, a trade school. Mine was a law school. I had to go get a law degree because I was not employable after spending 4 years and many thousands of dollars at a university I love, Florida State. So last year, Senator Don Gaetz took over as chairman of the Education Appropriations Committee, and he has instituted a regime of performance-based funding. where if you are a college or a university and your graduates don't get jobs, if they don't have the skills that are relevant in today's workforce, then don't expect dollars from the legislature to continue to flow to your institution. But the nimble places, like where we are here, and a variety of colleges that have sprung up in Florida with the idea of getting people into the workforce, they're going to be the big winners in a system where the dollars follow the jobs.
Thanks for being candid. Thanks for taking the time, and thanks for visiting us today.
Always a pleasure, man.
You are a champion for North Florida, for Northwest Florida. You are definitely someone who Washington County recognizes as one of our own. We appreciate what you do. And again, thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you. I look forward to being back on.
Our guest today has been Matt Gaetz, currently Florida representative from District 4, getting ready to full tilt enter his campaign for the Florida Senate, District 1. In our effort to make you a more informed voter, we take the opportunity to visit with guys like Matt. I'm sure that you've learned something in the course of the show. I certainly do. Every show, in this case, certainly have. Thanks for being our viewer. Thanks for all that you bring to our table. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. We'll be right back.